That's not true, is it? You were in charge of the rice? Yeah, the rice. It ended up mushy. I think it's delicious. Anna ate it like it was the tastiest thing in the world. An idea popped into my head. If I bore her, she might leave early. Thanks. But the chicken is much better. And it's incredible how you could make anything decent in the oven we have, Grace. Oh, don't talk about the oven, Jack. It's embarrassing. I'll bet you've never seen a greasier oven, Anna. I swear to God. I tried to clean it, but nothing works. I don't know what the previous owners did to it to make it dirty. And that's not even the biggest problem, is it, you said? Yes. The light in the oven barely works. And don't get me started on the heating, it's so sketchy. Yeah, all of that. And you still managed to make something this good. What do you say, Anna? It's tasty, it reminds me of home. Have you tried remembering what home was like, Jack? I swallowed, choked, and coughed. What? What's with that all of a sudden? Anna smiled and went on eating. I was just wondering. No, I have not tried to remember what home was like. I don't see why I'd have to. I'm fine without it. Alright. It's a shame, though. Tough. Jack? Yeah? What is it, Grace? I'm with Anna on this one. You are? Yes. Even after you said you were fine with me deciding what goes on in my head? I'm trying to think of what's best for you. That's right. You can't spend your life running away from the past. Face it now. Be a man. It's not healthy to lock so much of yourself away. It can't be. You have to agree, Jack. I didn't reply. I was excavating a chicken drumstick. Anna, I didn't tell you this, but at night at least once a week, Jack... That's enough! Banged my fist on the table, then was immediately ashamed that I had lost my temper. But I couldn't back down. This has to... This has got to do with me, and only me. Stay the hell out of it, both of you. Do you understand? But why are you so... it's no good. I've never gotten this angry before. I needed to be alone. I walked out to another room, but that didn't help. I could still hear their murmurs and their whispering. They were talking about me. I dressed in a hurry. Huh? What are you going out, Jack? I nodded. How fun. Wait, don't go. I'm sorry I keep insisting so much. You know I'm trying to help, right? Yeah? Then please don't be mad. I couldn't stop being angry. It was stronger than me. Can you do just one thing for me, just so I know I did all I could? Do what? Can you say you're fine with... No, please say that you don't want to remember. Can you do that for me? Of course. I hesitated longer than I thought I would. Suddenly it struck me I was being childish as hell. But in the end, my anger and my stubbornness won over. I don't want to remember. There, are you happy now? I wanted things to stay as they were. That's all I ever wanted, for nothing to change. Because for once, I was happy. Well, I'm sorry. You should be. I walked out. By the time I came back, Grace was gone. August 17th. I came back hours later after a little drinking and a lot of pointless wandering. The apartment was empty. Her things were gone, but I only realized that after I read the letter. The letter was on the table next to our half-finished dinner. There was a key next to the letter too, a key to the apartment. I remember the letter word for word, so why don't I write it down here? Wouldn't that be fun? Jack, it said, I can't stay with you anymore. You're only going to make yourself more miserable, and I can't help you, and I can't watch you do this to yourself. I pray that there's someone who can help you like I couldn't, and I hope you'll be happy. Goodbye. Grace didn't need to sign the message. I would have recognized those neat letters anywhere. I'd seen the same handwriting during our brief year together, on dozens, if not hundreds, of little notes. Shift schedules, reminders to buy snacks or milk, things like that. There were, in fact, at least half a dozen of the yellow post-its she used still around the apartment. Seeing them hurt. There were a lot of other things Grace hadn't taken with her, too. Socks, pants, a few undershirts, a scarf, one pair of shoes, a sweater she really liked, too. She would have worn the sweater while napping in the evening. It was all evidence of how much of a hurry she'd been in to get away from me. Now I know better. Morning, everyone. The patients all greet her. I do too. Well, well. I'm happy to see you finally stop being Mr. Grumpy. Well, you know. Do you feel better? Does the leg still hurt? I'm a little better, I guess. At peace. That's great. You'll be up on your feet in no time, sure. Free to come back home? I laugh like hell. Hannah probably doesn't see what's so funny. She smiles vacantly. I guess she does love me in her own way. It doesn't matter, though. Remembering the pain she caused me has given me conviction. My heart is set on killing her. August 18th. My health is vastly improving. Doctor's words, though. And I feel it. I don't wake up at night so much anymore, choking on pain. And I don't get so angry anymore that I have to chew on my own fingers so I don't end up shouting. I really am at peace. I know what to do. And I know how I have to do it. I feel like I don't have a choice in the matter. I'm a train going down a set of tracks at a few hundred miles per hour. No turns, no brakes. Whatever happens, will happen. It's strangely calming. For now, I'll keep on riding. I know a good point to stop. After Grace left, I spent the first night alone on the couch on the kitchen floor. It was where my legs happened to give in under me after a few hours of walking back and forth in the apartment. I had paced around like a caged animal, looking under pillows and carpets and poking my head in closets. I don't know why. Maybe I thought I'd find her there. I woke up in the afternoon with a blanket over me. I thought that Grace had done it, that she'd come back. She hadn't. Guess it must have been Anna. I didn't go to work. I didn't eat. I don't remember drinking any water, but I must have, and I must have slept a lot too. It turned out I needed Grace more than I thought I did. Certainly more than she needed me. I was all alone that night, and the day after, too, right up until the evening. Then that's when she made her move. The windows were closed and the blinds were drawn. It must have been stuffy and hot in the apartment. I lay on the couch, shivering. I held to my chest a sweater. Grace had left. I was about to slip into uncomfortable sleep when the door opened. My heart skipped a beat before the sight of a person coming in disappointed me. Hello? Jack? I stared at her. What's wrong? Stare. She tried to get me to talk, but I was not in a talking mood. Eventually, she found the letter still on the table, pretending to find it. Oh, Jack. Oh, darling. Go away. You're hurt, I know. She's terrible, isn't she? To have to hurt you so badly? Sweater was soft against my skin and smelled of her. I know, she's awful. Let me help. She brought her hand to my face. I turned my head away. I'm the one who can make you happy, you know. You won't have to remember that girl ever again. You won't want to, I promise. Her hand found my cheek. It had only been 2 days since I'd last seen Grace and last touched her, but it was like I had already forgotten a person's warmth. I raised my hand to bat hers away, and I found that I couldn't do it. Instead, I put my hand on hers. I was close to tears. There were so many emotions in me that confused and overwhelmed me. But Anna was there, and she was whispering that she'd never leave. We made love there, on the couch. Afterwards, I used the sweater to wipe the sweat off of me. Anna lay next to me, soft and warm, both her arms wrapped around one of mine. In the morning, after that long night, Anna looked to me and asked me a question. I'm tired, aren't you? Uh-huh. I won't go to work today. I'll call in sick. What about you? I don't know. I won't go to work. I hadn't thought at all about work. It was so irrelevant. That's a good idea. Hey, I'm going to my apartment. I want to have a nice hot shower. Come with? Sure, yes. My apartment had a perfectly working shower, of course, but I didn't want to be by myself. I was scared. After I'd had a shower at her place, Anna told me I could stay there a while. Until you feel better, she told me. What do you say? I said yes, and that's how it went. I don't feel shame for what I did. I know I should, but I don't. Problem is, I don't really feel like I did any of that. It's more like I was watching myself do those things, watching myself get tricked and cheat on Grace, and live with that woman who's caused so much misery to so many people. I know I should be ashamed. It's a disgusting thing I did, but I can't take it back. Let myself be made into an animal. The one whole month is something I'd like to forget and to never remember. So I won't write about it, or about anything more. I've written enough. I'm done. This journal has helped me a lot, but I don't need it anymore. This is then. It's goodbye. So goodbye. JF. I woke up and found the room dark. Incredibly dark. It didn't matter if my eyes were open or closed. The image couldn't change. Something wasn't right. The air smelled different. Grace made a soft moaning sound in her sleep. She lay next to me. I reached down to make absolutely sure she was here. Jack? To her, her voice instead was like finding a snake in the bed. I almost fell over a nightstand. You okay? Bad dream? Stay. She touched me, skin against skin. I remembered where I was and why I was here. Better? Yeah, sorry about that. Good. I settled back into my side of the bed, and I ruffled my hair. You startled me. I didn't mean to. It's okay, I know you wouldn't do that. Because you love me. Dear Diary, it's all been worth it. All these years of waiting and hoping have been so worth it. I never expected it to go as well as it did. Now I feel so silly I ever worried. Grace is out of the picture. It was easy. She is so scared of everything. And Jack is all mine. I expected he would struggle a lot more. I'm so proud of him. Even in the terrible state he's in, no memories of us at all. He knew in his heart he should pick me over her. You're so cute, Jack. The way you're absolutely helpless without me. I'll pamper you a little more. I can do that. There's no hurry. There's no rush. We've reached our happy ending. I paced around Anna's bedroom. Step, 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 step. Turn. Step, 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 step. Turn. It wasn't a very large room, but the same size as mine, and step, 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 step. Turn. It was dark. The curtains were drawn. but it would have been dark without them too. The alarm clock's neon green digits hovering in the dark showed that it was 5:10 a.m., and it was Monday. Step, step, step. Anna's bed sheets rustled. She mumbled something and sat up. Jack, why are you... I took in a deep breath. It helped me get my voice from shaking as I answered. It's nothing. Go back to sleep. What is it? Something is wrong, isn't it? Tell me. I'll make it go away. No, please. It's stupid. Tell me. I stepped closer to the bed, banged my shin on its side and sighed. It's Monday. Anna glanced over her shoulder at the alarm clock. Yep, it is. So? I have work. When I came back to an empty apartment, it was early Friday morning. I'd missed work on Friday. I must be on thin ice already. I didn't even call in. And? Just don't go. But if I don't go today, they'll fire me for sure. So? What do you mean, so? This is serious. Don't be upset. Here. Anna got up leisurely and kissed me, held me. We stood there a few moments in silence. There, doesn't it all seem better now? But I still... Uh-huh. No, sweetie, you stay in today. She pressed herself harder against me. I felt her softness, the heat of her body. I could hardly feel anything else. You don't want to go to work, do you? I don't, but I mean I have to. You don't have to. I'll be fine. The world won't end. I was going to complain again, but she pressed a finger to my lips. You know what? An idea just came to me. If you move out of the, full apartment and come live with me instead, you won't have to work in that awful store anymore, either. That sounds nice, doesn't it? Sounded so good. Anna understood me so well. But I wasn't sure for myself. I asked if it was really fine for me to stay here for good. Of course. I wouldn't want you anywhere else. Dear Diary. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. How is this going so well? Never worked so well before. Not with the patients I tried it on, even though they were terminal. Even though they had no one to visit them. All of them kept being themselves right up until the end. But with Jack, I can do anything. He is like clay. I could change him into anyone, anything I want. How awful. He's so lucky that it's me doing this. Could you imagine someone else with this kind of responsibility? No. What am I saying? Nobody else could make him so willing to change. Me. Only me. He's only like this because he loves me so much. He's always loved me, even when he didn't realize it. And he'll always love me, and I'll always love him, and we'll be together forever. Forever. I'm so happy, I could scream. Right now I'm only teasing him a little, but that's okay. We have all the time in the world. Unlike the other boys, he's not about to expire. Days went by, maybe a week. Jack? Come on, Jack. I laugh. If you don't let go of me, I can't go to work, you know. Then don't go. Stay here. Hey, one of us has to go. We need to live. I need you to live. That's very sweet, but I still have to go. I won't budge. She ran her fingers through my hair. I like that. If you get off me now, I promise I'll have a special surprise for you when I get back. Really? Really, promise. Okay. I forced myself to let her go. After she went away, I lay back down on the bed. I waited for her to come back. I did nothing else. And her surprise was a big plastic bag. It was swollen, full of something. I looked at her, then at it, then at her again, and frowned. You'll see. Come, we have to go somewhere. Go outside? Yes. Isn't that exciting? I looked away. What, you don't want it? You don't want to? I held a pillow in front of me. It was meant to act as a barrier. Oh, you big scaredy cat. Come on. She took my arm and pulled. I wouldn't go. Her grip was strong. Or maybe I'd gotten weak, but I stayed in place. Huh? So you really don't want to go? Let's... How come we can't just stay here? Oh, sweetie. I don't want the apartment to burn down. She made me dress in outside clothes. They were rugged and cold. The outside was even more rugged and cold. The street was wet. It must have rained. The people there were giving me looks. They were looking at me like I was trash. Why? What had I done to them? What had I ever done to anyone? Oh, hey. Ease up a little. You're hurting my hand. Sorry. That's okay. If you really don't feel like it, we can go back home right now. Really? Yes. But I know you can do this. So will you do it for me? Uh, I... Yeah, okay. Great. Thank you, Jack. You're so good to me. We walked for over 15 minutes. My feet hurt and my legs were made clicking sounds. I hadn't really walked in over a week. But I didn't complain. We're almost there. Do you know where we are? I shook my head. And it led me somewhere I had never been. Each street we passed was dirty and grayer and more abandoned than the last, and the people looked at us all the more meanly. I thought they were going to hurt us, but Ender wasn't afraid, so I did my best to be brave, too. Whatever she had in the plastic bag, it wasn't heavy. The bag was so full it was almost the shape of a big ball, but it still swung so lightly. What do you think is in there? Anna had noticed me looking. Don't know. Want to guess? I didn't. I told her I didn't. I told her I couldn't think of anything. Oh well, you'll see enough soon. Our destination I saw 5 minutes later. It was an empty street. A whole street, blocks and blocks of it, completely abandoned. The pavement was cracked. The buildings were still stood here hollow, and everything was outgrown with weeds. It was more a jungle than a city street. It was ugly. I hated to even look at it. Isn't it so beautiful? Yeah. I'll show you the best spot here. It's my favorite. But it'll be our secret, okay? Can't tell anyone else. Okay. We passed through a tunnel-like opening set in a tall, wide building. Beyond it was a field of brown-yellow grass. Came up to my chest. Surrounding the grass were the sides of a large apartment building. This used to be its courtyard. The building was a molted, ugly gray. It had most likely been a prettier color before it burned down. It had so many windows, none of which had glass in them. They gaped down at us, empty and dark. And our spot was a square patch of concrete in the middle of the overgrown courtyard. Once there, Anna handed me something from the plastic bag. It was a small gas canister and a box of matches. She emptied the rest of the bag out on the concrete. When I saw the contents, my chest tightened and started to hurt. This is... On the ground there were a few post-it notes, a pair of shoes, and mostly clothes. I had seen them before. They had belonged to someone I knew. Who? Someone I had known an eternity ago. Too long ago to remember. But I knew these things were important. You know what this is? Yes? I shouldn't? It's fine if you still recognize them. Completely fine. You're not mad? I'm not mad. Give me that. Anna grabbed the gas canister from my hands. She poured the gas out into the clothes and shoes and post-it notes down to the last drop. Then she tossed the canister aside and stepped away. Canister made a tinny, empty sound as it hit the concrete. Tunk, tunk. After that, there was silence. Anna? Should I... What do you think you should... What do you think you should do? Are you really not mad? Do you want to... Do what you think you need to, Jack. And do it quick. It's growing dark, and I didn't bring a flashlight. So I did what I thought I needed to. I lit a match. It took me 3 tries to get it right because of my clumsy fingers. Creating the little fire with my hands, I brought it over her things. They were wet and stank of gasoline. I held the lit match above them. Why are you hesitating? Don't you want to do this? I don't know. I needed to do what Anna wanted me to do, but the thought of me doing it made me want to lie down and cry. I couldn't explain why those things were so dear to me. They just were. The flame had almost reached my fingers. Anna, I don't think... Do it. I dropped the match. The little fire touched the gasoline and blossomed. The sudden heat made me step back. Those things, those shoes and clothes and little yellow notes, they were already crackling and turning into charcoal. Anna stood by me. I waited for her to scold me, but she didn't. She put her hand in mine, our fingers interlocked. You did well. I did? Yes. When it came down to it, you did what you should. I'm proud of you. A warmth filled my chest. My worry for these scattered pieces of nothing on the ground faded away. I was with the love of my life, and she loved me and was proud of me. How could I care about some... I couldn't even remember what it had been anymore. Old clothes? Whatever. Anna giggled. It made me so glad to see Anna happy. I pulled her closer. After a good minute of laughing, she sighed as if spent and looked up at me. Wasn't that fun? Yep. The things on the ground had already gone out. They were black and unrecognizable. Let's go back home. Okay, Anna. You're so happy, aren't you? And why wouldn't you be? I'm happy too. The happiest I've ever been. Me too. The happiest I've ever been. Really? Yep. Thank you, Jack. That means the world to me. We went away hand in hand. But before we walked out into the grass again, I looked back at one last time at the things I had burned. Something moved at the edge of my vision, up in one of the glassless windows. I looked again, but it was gone. This place is dangerous. Are there people here? You know what? There just might be. Bad people. We should get home as soon as we can. Yes, home. Where it's safe. That little... I hope she had a good look at us burning all that trash of hers. At Jack burning it. God, I'm so proud of him, it hurts. I couldn't believe I miscalculated, though. I thought Grace was gone for good. But then there she was in our hallway, asking where Jack was and what I had done with him. All this while Jack was right in the other side of the door. Can you imagine what would have happened if I wasn't there? She would have knocked on the door or rang the doorbell, and she would have probably called out too. It would have scared Jack so badly, I couldn't bear to think about it. Thankfully, I wasn't wrong about everything to do with her. She hasn't called the police. I knew she wouldn't. I just didn't think she'd come back at all. She was still as scared as a little lamb. Her hand shook while she demanded I tell her what happened to Jack. He can't be in there, can he? She stepped forward, but when I put myself between the door and her, she looked she backed off. I wonder how she didn't pee herself. She was so scared. Jack doesn't want to see you. What are you doing with him? No one's seen him since I went away. It's like he's disappeared. He's been here the whole time? God, what are you doing to him? Be quiet. She was making so much noise. Put a hand on her shoulder. I had to see if she had guts to slap it away. She just stood there. Jack is perfectly fine. He's happy and doesn't want to see you again. I know he probably hates me now, but at least let me see him. I at least have to see him again. So annoying. Loneliness has made her desperate, unpleasant. That's what being by yourself does. Look at dear Jack. You've only been together for a short while, and he's already such a sweetheart, and he was so prickly before. If you see him now, he'll tell you he hates you. Do you really want that? No, I don't want that, but then go away. It's as simple as that, don't you think? Even people like you should understand. But why are you so... I thought we were... She swallowed hard. I have to see him. Anna, please. Being alone made you a real bitch, you think... You know that? But what? Or did it? Were you lonely after all? It really makes me wonder. With how little money you took with you, I was sure you'd be living on the streets. But you're clean, you don't smell, and more than usual. I'm living with a friend. What does it matter? That's a lie. You don't have any friends. Grace gritted her teeth and glared at me. She wanted to run away in shame. She's so simple, so obvious. But she couldn't leave with Jack so close. So, what were you saying? Who's you for rent? I'm not... Is that wrinkly old man you worked with? It's nothing like that. I am living with Don, but I'm not... Oh, aren't you? Then how are you paying back his hospitality? You don't have any money. You quit your job, too. I checked. I'm not paying back anything. Don't be shy. Oh, screw you. Move. How violent. It's a good thing I separated her and Jack when I did. And more of this girl's influence, and who knows what could have happened. She tried to shove past me, but I had a little surprise in my pocket. Anna, that's... Yep. So don't you dare touch me again. I might do something bad. Pressed the knife against the side of her cheek. It drew blood. I couldn't help myself. But it wasn't a lot. I'm not gonna kill someone out in the open like that. I'm not stupid. Grace stood petrified. You can't do this. I'll call the cops? No, you won't. They won't believe you. They never do. Right? She didn't lash out for once. She must have really realized how useless it was to try. She shuffled away. I waved her off. It's only polite. She didn't even look back. But then she kept following me around, even after that. What a stalker. So I had Jack burn her things. I know she was watching. It was beautiful. Now she'll back off for good. I'm back. Welcome back. Hey, easy, you trip. The moment you touched me, those long hours of waiting were painted over by warmth. It made me so happy. Something smells good. Is it dinner? Yes. Oh, you remembered. I'm so glad. I made a casserole. Anna set the table and I served it. This is really tasty. This was really tasty, Jack. Thank you. I wasn't happy with the meal. It was tasteless, and the meat was tough. Anna said she liked it. She was so kind. I wish I could help more. What do you mean? With money, I guess. I was being serious, but she laughed. That made me feel a bit stupid. Oh, Jack, money's no problem at all. Told you already I got a lot saved up, and the rent here's nothing. Oh, okay. Anna hummed contentedly. A minute later, she stopped. There's something you can do, actually. Really? Yes, really. But I'm not sure if you'd be up to it. Anything. I'll do anything for you. Okay, then. What is it? How can I help? Wait until before bedtime, okay? I nodded. When I heard what she wanted me to do, I didn't take it well. I was angry, furious. I felt betrayed. You want me to... Yes, I do. But, no. You said I'd never have to remember anything. You promised. Got up from the bed and started pacing from wall to wall, never looking at Anna. What she said hurt. How could you lie like that? Oh, baby. Please don't hate me. I was shivering with anger. I thought I might faint, but I didn't hate her. I couldn't. So I stopped walking and faced her. I know I said what I said, but that is important. Don't you believe me? There was only one thing I could say. Yeah, I believe you. Thank you, Jack. I love you. I love you too. And I'm sorry. Don't. Don't say you're... Hearing Anna say that she was sorry was for some reason like a punch to the gut. It tugged at my memory. She always said, I know, but that's not what I'm telling you to remember. You must never remember that woman. Forget all about you have left of her. Then, what I want you to recall goes much, much further back. It won't be easy, but when you do, when you remember, our love will be the deepest it's ever been. Do you want that? I do. I love you. I want that. I want to love you even more. Tell me about what I should remember. Anna embraced me with happy tears in her eyes, but she wouldn't tell me what I needed to remember. She said it would have been pointless, as she told me. I had to remember it all by myself. Anna ordered me to sit down and heard of the alarm clock every day for at least an hour. I was to do this while she was at work. I was to have my eyes closed. I was trying to try digging back into my memories, far, far back. I did as ordered. But the first time I tried, the very next day, it was all so foggy in my mind that I couldn't even start. Thinking felt slow. It was like walking through molasses. I only made myself tired. Before I fell asleep sitting up, one last thought came to me. Was thinking always so hard? The second time, too, I gave up right away. I couldn't do it. But I promised Anna. The next day, I tried harder. My head hurt, but I felt like it was groping in the dark, scared and all alone. But I did it. I had promised Anna. I waded further in. Flash of a smile made my chest hurt. But I kept going. For love. Huh? Which one did I love? Which one did I hate? Things didn't used to be like this, did they? This feels wrong. Something went terribly wrong. I need to make sense of it. Days later, while going back in my memory, I reached a wall. A dam. I felt like I shouldn't try to climb over it, so I didn't. There were things out there I didn't want to see. So I went back to the puddle I'd been searching through. It was a stow of love and fear and hate, given and taken seemingly at random. It was a mess. But it was a mess in my head. I would make it make sense.